name's Bruce Inman. I'm a Crew Independent Energy Advisor. I've been involved with Crew for a little over a year. The official launch, I think, was January 16th of 2016. And I've been following their success in adding additional partners and relationships that have enabled us now to offer something quite unique in the industry where we can offer residential, commercial, and now community solar pretty much nationwide everywhere that things are going on. So we're going to have some information tonight and lots of questions. Appreciate you speaking up as we get this going this evening. And Clifford, you want to step up and take the ball and run. So glad to have you on the team.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Well, yes, thank you all for coming out tonight. Above all, on the agendas you have, any questions that come to mind, scribble them down. Because we'll have an extended question and answer period to go over anything that's floating ahead of what's going on with solar now, what will be happening in solar, and what's going to be going on in Florida with respect to solar, and renewable energy as well. But the first thing we got to look at and understand is exactly how does power reach one person's home, building, or business. Now, in the conventional power creation, there's a central plant that's generally burning natural gas or coal. Among the other things, you'll have biomass, wind energy, and the like powering it. So the energy that's created there is used to create steam. That steam then spins a turbine. That turbine creates electricity. Now it's sent over miles and miles and miles of electrical wires to the point that it reaches your home to power your modern conveniences. Now, in comparison to that model, what solar power provides is what's referred to as distributed power. Whereas we put solar panels on people's roofs, light from the sun hits those panels. It causes an electron to begin to flow, and that power is referred to as direct current. That direct current is converted into alternating current, which is what powers all of our devices, and then goes directly into the home. There's no line loss, heat is minimized, and the efficiency of the power itself is put directly into the source that's using it. Now, with that model, it's a lot cleaner, simpler, less moving parts, and it also gives people control of their power. In the centralized conventional system, we have to rely on the central source to always be producing that power. And they play with rates to do one thing or another, to pay for one thing or another, and to an extent, that's acceptable. But for a greater extent, it's much better to have that control within our own hands. So now, thinking of that, how exactly is that system put together? There's two applications to really consider. First one is referred to as off-grid. It's a standalone system. And a system like that is not connected to the utility company at all. It produces its own power and has a storage capacity for that power so it can run for itself any given number of days. So now, second to that, we have what's called a grid interconnected system, which is the standard system application, particularly in the state of Florida, because as I mentioned before, disconnecting from the power utility is not permissible in the entire state. Now that is by law, and one reason or another is how things are and how they're going to continue to be for the foreseeable future. But with that grid interconnected system, the power that's created from the solar panels is actually fed into the utility grid, and it's credited as far as what the person pulls out. In many of those applications, it's going to produce 30 to 100%, even over 100% of the power used in that facility. So, with that grid interconnection, we have what's referred to as net metering, which many probably have heard, people getting paid for the electricity that they produce. Now, that electricity that's produced means that the power company didn't need to produce anything, but it has the advantage of feeding into the grid to power another application. So for that, the utility company actually compensates somebody for doing it. Now, the power that people use is generally about 10.4 cents, whereas the power that somebody gets back in net metering generally comes out to about 5 cents. And that's because the power company does need to pay for lines, it needs to pay for repairs, it needs to pay for maintenance, and that's where that drop comes in. But nonetheless, at the end of the year, when the true-up is done to see how much extra power was produced, people are still getting something back over getting nothing for that energy that they put into the system. So it's a system that really works out. Now, In that system, there's another application where I refer to storage capacity. And that storage capacity is when the energy that's produced by the solar panels is actually put into a system like batteries. Now, everybody's heard of Tesla, right? Elon Musk's company that's putting out the electric car, that's just purchased another solar company, and has done great work with providing batteries and making them affordable for everybody in the United States. Just from the work that Tesla's done with what he refers to as this gigafactory, it's actually caused battery costs to drop about 80% just in the last 18 months. So that's a great option and great work that he's doing. So now with that storage capacity, it's measured in kilowatt hours. So when people look at a battery bank, it's going to tell them how many kilowatt hours of storage they'll have, so they don't need to use utility at all in that given time. Now that's also something that's expandable, so it makes it easier for a home or a business to go without power for a longer amount of time. One of the best things about solar power and the distributed power system is that it is expandable. Just like Legos come together and build onto it, solar panels can be added and built onto the system as well as storage capacity, which is one thing that is a great concern, particularly in the state of Florida, due to hurricanes. Now, something that's special about solar systems, and it is a safety feature that's built into them. In a grid interconnected system, if the power at the utility goes down, the power at the home also shuts off. This is a safety measure, because when the people are going to work on the power lines, it's cut off at the source, but if it was backfeeding from the home, we could actually hurt people. So as a safety measure, that's put into place. Now, in a system that has batteries, they don't have what's referred to as that islanding, so that they'll be able to still have power when the power is off at the utility because the batteries provide the storage for them. So now there's all sorts of new and different applications for batteries that are coming online as research funding becomes available, as technology matures, and people begin to use more of those services. So battery technology is something that is on the cusp of being more affordable and easier to be installed into a system, but at the current state, batteries are an over and above. So for most people, it's just going to be a matter of storing the power they have in the fashion of net metering, with utilities giving them credit for the power that they've already produced, or getting a check at the end of that amount of time